In 1634, Father Andrew White set sail for the United States with an English delegation of Jesuits eager to evangelize a new nation. Historical records indicate that Jesuit enslavement began as early as 1711 and continued until emancipation in 1865. In 1838, Jesuit priests in Maryland sold 272 souls from plantations in southern Maryland to plantations in Louisiana. In 2016, descendants of Jesuit slaveholding and the 1838 sale began learning of their ancestors' plight. Here are their hopes for reconciliation and the teaching of our shared history in Jesuit schools.
I am Monique Trust-Claire Maddox. I am a native of Louisiana, and I am a descendant of Jesuit enslavement. I grew up in Louisiana, about 30 miles from Baton Rouge. I am the president and CEO of Descendants, Truth and Reconciliation Foundation.
My name is Rochelle Sanders Prater. I am the great-granddaughter of Jackson Jack Hawkins. He was 3 years old when they did the sale.
I'm Joseph M. Stewart. I am a descendant of the GU 272 sale in 1838, and I'm one of the founders that started the movement toward creating the Descendants, Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. And I served as the first chair, president, and CEO as we begun on this pathway forward.
My full name is Ernest Emerson Jones. I'm the 3 times great-grandson of Henrietta Hill, as one of the original 272 descendants from Georgetown.
I'm Cheryl E. Hall. I am a descendant, and I'm very glad to be a part of this organization and the work that we are doing, dealing with truth, reconciliation, and healing. This has been an awesome experience for me and for our group overall.
In 2019, the Jesuit provincials in the United States and leaders from descendant groups agreed to establish the Descendant Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. The foundation seeks to uplift the educational aspirations of descendants through college scholarships. It helps elderly and infirm descendants to age with dignity and sponsors truth and reconciliation programs. This is a descendant-led vision and the first-of-a-kind partnership with the descendants and the Jesuits.
Our foundation began with 3 pillars. We started with education for descendants. We started out with just post-secondary education, 4-year degrees. Then we said, some people don't want a 4-year degree. Let's extend that to 2 years of education. So we then offered 2 years. Others said, look at the cost of student loans and the burden that is on families. Why don't we extend that to master's, graduate degrees? And so our education pillar has really expanded to all post-secondary needs, 2-year, 4-year, as well as graduate degrees. The second pillar is on truth, racial healing, and transformation. And that's a national pillar where we are going to be offering grants to different community building organizations to be able to give out dollars to support these programs around truth-telling, around this history, around racial healing, racial equity, bridging wealth gaps, so that we can transform America. And the last pillar I'll talk about was one that was really born out of a really hurtful piece of this history. And it was born out of some of those conditions on the sale of our families. Those conditions there were 20 conditions. And of those conditions, one of those conditions was to keep our families together and to care for the elderly and infirm. And that didn't happen. And so we put a pillar in to support the elderly and infirm needs of descendants, to say, the Jesuits didn't do this when they sold our families, but we want to honor those elderly and infirm descendants.
It's been enlightening from the moment that we were informed in 2016 that we were in fact descendants of the 272, and remarking on a family history of excellence in higher education, specifically in the state of Louisiana. And the irony that, so Henrietta Hill was my 3 times great-grandmother, married Richard Jones, who had offspring, obviously, one being John Sebastian Jones, one of the original founders of Southern University here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His son, Dr. Ralph Waldo Emerson Jones, Sr., the former president of Grambling State University for over 5 decades. And then my dad, Dr. Ralph Waldo Emerson Jones, Jr., who subsequently was a professor at several universities, including University of Maryland and Yale. And then myself and my 2 brothers, and then obviously my sons and my brother's sons, et cetera, et cetera. So being a part of the descendant family, it's just been an inspiration to see the trials and tribulations of so many across the community, and now becoming a part of the solution, and hopefully the significant contributions that this foundation can make from this point forward.
We're the only organization that is made up of descendants of enslaved people and the heirs of those who enslaved them. We have brought together, this vision has brought together the offenders and the offendees.
We chose a moral path, not a legal path, because what better way to show what our church and our faith is about than through a moral path.
It's time we teach this history. We have to own all of our history. To be a Jesuit is to know that I'm a sinner, yet called to be a companion of Jesus Christ. What greater way than to admit our sin?
The point of healing. You cannot heal if you don't work with the people that's part of, not cause or not. You have to have, so to speak, the church, the Jesuits have said, we sinned against God.
Especially our collective social sin through the centuries, because in confessing the sin, in teaching the sin, we can begin to heal from it. If you attend a Jesuit school, whether or not your school was founded before emancipation or after emancipation, your school was founded in a country built on slaveholding. Your school was founded by U.S. Jesuits who have in their roots of the American mission a history of slaveholding. Know that history, understand it, learn from it, so that we can have an authentic Catholic Christian approach to fighting racism.
Everybody wants their child to have a Jesuit education. How sweet would it be to have a Jesuit education that is laced in truth, that recognize that they too, because of when they first came here, had to participate, whether they intended to or not, in the legacy of slavery.
Jesuit schools should be telling the story of the Jesuits from the descendants' perspective and from the Jesuits' perspective. Those students attending those schools should know the story. The story should not be buried. The story should not be changed. The story should be the truth, because the truth will allow them to understand and appreciate that we all are here for a purpose, that we all can contribute, and that we all want the best for our kids, for our grandkids, for our families, and that we all should be productive and giving citizens to a global society.
Everyone is asking, I think, and Jesuits are asking, what do we do with knowing this history? What are we supposed to do next? I think what is being asked of us is to be in relationship with descendants. And a relationship is not a box you check. How do we embed that relationship in all that we do, in all of our mode of thinking? That's, I think, the way forward.
We will walk hand in hand because of our what? Our love. L-O-V-E. Said over and over again, upside down, all around, but how is it walked out? It's got to be walked out. We're given an opportunity to model for the world. This is not about just the United States. This is the world. This is the Vatican. This is Christianity. This is everything. This is the model.
Some say I'm very religious. I didn't know of myself as being a very religious person, but I knew that I needed to have a relationship with God. You never know when you're going to need those relationships. And so my faith is what has kept me throughout my years of growing up in Maringouin, Louisiana, to college at an HBCU in Texas, leaving Prairie View A&M University, moving to Houston where I started my family, and then moving to Minnesota. All of those things have formed me. I didn't know that, but it's always been my faith that has sustained me. When we moved to Minnesota, I was looking for a church that I could call home. And as I've told some of my friends there in Minnesota, some people don't think of Minnesota as a place that's very warm and welcoming. And even the church where I belong, there's not a whole lot of people that look like me in that church. But it was a church that I found home. I found it home because of the mission of the church. It's rooted in a mission that's bigger than its walls, which is much like this foundation, bigger than what you can see, because you can go beyond those walls. And that's what our church teaches us. Everyone is welcome.
In the 8th chapter of John's Gospel, Jesus is preaching on the Mount of Olives, and he proclaims, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free." We urge students in Jesuit schools to study the truth of our history, to listen to the voices of living descendants, to embrace the truth and reconciliation that we need to heal from this history.